My teacher called my work bad and my attitude even worse. It then got featured on the biggest art gallery in the country. The school I go to is well respected in my country, so it was not uncommon for venues to request to display a student's work or to ask students to sing live for them. On the occasion in question, the largest art gallery in the country, Gallery X, had asked my school to submit inspired art to be out on display. The school agreed and said that they would submit 5 pieces of work. Back to the story. I hated art growing up, but it was a mandatory subject until you got to choose your subjects in year 10. Despite hating the subject, I still put effort into my work, and some of it wasn't that bad. However, at the same time, I would not hide away from expressing my views when we were given a task that I didn't see a point to, even if the teacher was in earshot. Needless to say, my relationship with the art department faculty wasn't the best. My teacher at the time particularly had it in for me. He was one of those teachers that has the view that their subject should be your most important subject, regardless of your future ambitions. If he thought that you weren't prioritizing art, then he would make your life crap. Yet again, I hated art as a subject, he knew this, but I would still do any work set to the best of my ability. We had just finished a project where we had to mix different pigments to create our own unique color. Being colorblind, I struggled a lot as I literally could not differentiate between half of the pigments. I gave it my all, but ended up giving up halfway through the project. My teacher hated me for giving up. When we went to hand the project in, he gave me a lecture about how I need to put in more effort and work harder because the quality of work was unacceptable. Once that project was finished, my teacher told us that Gallery X has asked that we create some inspired art. We were basically shown 5 different paintings that we were supposed to recreate in our own way. There was a big fuss about this. People were saying that art schools would be giving out scholarships, that there was a $10,000 reward, and other nonsense that 14-year-olds make up. But nevertheless, everyone wanted to be the one to have their painting in Gallery X. So for the next month and a half in my art class, we would work on our piece. After the first week of working my piece, the excitement of the new project wore off, and so did my eagerness in lessons. My teacher noticed this and went from complimenting my work to yelling at me about what I was doing wrong. By the 4th week, I was over the project and just wanted to be done with this. With 2 weeks left on the project, my teacher pulls me aside to tell me that my work isn't good enough and that I need to improve it. I tried to improve, but he kept on belittling me. So out of arrogance and spite, I made art my most important subject until the end of this project. I dragged myself to each lesson, quietly working myself to the bone, counting down the days till the deadline of the project. After what seemed like a year to 14-year-old me, the second last lesson arrives. This lesson was not for final touches or anything like that. My teacher had decided that he should review what each student has done well and where they could have improved. He walks around the classroom complimenting everyone's work until he gets to mine. I don't remember exactly what he said, but I'm pretty sure none of it was positive. I do remember, however, how he finished talking about mine. You can tell that OP hasn't given this any thought and hasn't taken this seriously. That stung like crap because yes, I had lost interest in it, but I had still worked hard in lessons and given it my best shot. The last lesson finally comes and I can't wait to be over with this stupid project. This lesson was the big one too. The judges from Gallery X were coming to school to judge all of the work. They come into our class, do all of the formalities. These look so good. I have no idea how we can decide on only one, etc. Then they start walking around the room muttering to each other. The whole class has stood silently at the back trying to hear what they're saying. They do a full lap of the room, then walk back over to my spot. I don't even notice this as I had tuned out after they had looked at the second painting. They then ask the teacher whose work they're stood over. He looks at them almost in disbelief as he gestures to me. I snap out of my daydream and just smile politely with no idea what's going on. Finally, after about 5 minutes of mumbling, they say that they want to shortlist it to potentially be shown in Gallery X. I look at them in shock, then yet again smile politely and say thank you. Later on that week, I got an email from Gallery X asking for my permission to display my work, of which I happily said yes to. To sum it up, the work that he disrespected and said that no effort went into was selected from 192 others and got featured in the biggest art gallery in the country.